Hello, my name is Jack Castiglione, and I want to talk to you today about the beginning of the gay rights movement, at least in contemporary times. It started in 1969 in the city of New York at a gay bar called the Stonewall Inn. Now, in the 60s and before, this used to be a straight bar and restaurant that was purchased in 1966 by the Mafia, the Genovese family. And they turned it into a gay bar. You might think, well, why would they do that? Gay people had no place to gather. It was illegal to be gay or lesbian in the 60s. And people could get arrested if they were found out. That sounds very weird in today's world, but that's true in the 1960s. The bar opened in 1966 and was extremely popular. One reason was because they allowed drag queens there, where other gay bars did not. And so it sort of became known as a drag queen bar, but it was for everybody. The Mafia that owned it did not even have a liquor license. It opened as what was called a private bottle club, where people would bring their own liquor and then consume it there at the club. So, and it wasn't a very good club at that. The restrooms didn't work well. The bar had no wet sink behind it, which was a health requirement. Minors were even in the bar because gay and lesbian people who were teenagers had no place to go. Straight people could go anywhere, but not members of our community. So that's how it became known as a drag queen bar. And in June of 1969, the place was raided by the New York City Police Department. That alone was unusual because the Mafia bought off police officers, council people, judges, so that bar or other gay bars owned by the Mafia family would not be raided. But somehow something went wrong and the place was raided. And when the police got there, they were not very gentle with the clientele. They didn't just say, okay, ladies and folks, line up against the wall. We're going to check your ID. We're going to do this and that. No, they dragged them out in the street. They had billy clubs, and they started to beat them. I get a little emotional about this. There was one drag queen that they drug out and beat him on the head till he's bleeding. And he yelled out, "Stop the insanity. Help. Stop the insanity." And what was the insanity? It was that at that time, gay people could not kiss. They would be arrested. Gay people could not dance together. They'd be arrested. Gay people could not even hold hands. They'd be arrested. And drag queens could not dress fully as women. They could dress partially as women, but not fully. The law in New York was that you had to have at least 3 articles of clothing of your own gender, which was sort of like if a man wanted to dress as a woman, he could put on a skirt, but he had to wear regular shoes and maybe a shirt instead of a blouse and maybe a tie. And then he could do the makeup and the feminine hat or that. But you had to have 3 articles of clothing of your own gender. And then you could say he was not a drag queen. At least the police could. So this was really an awful thing. And I realize that a lot of people who are listening to this, watching this video, especially young people, can't imagine that the law would be so strict against gay and lesbian people. I don't want to come across as I was there. At that time, I was 19 years old. So I knew what was going on, but I was not involved in the gay rights movement for maybe another 5 years. But it made national news. And specifically what happened was, when the police came in on this particular time, the people outside the bar started throwing rocks, bottles, even cobblestones that they could find, and throw them at the bar, at the police, and the police ran inside the bar and barricaded themselves. It sounds funny, but that's what happened, and there was probably 100 to 200 people outside the bar who were rioting against the police. We know a lot about this because there was a reporter inside the bar from the Village Green Press, and he wrote up everything that the police were saying, how we're going to get those bastards, we're going to smash their heads, and all this revenge talk. This riot went on for a few hours, and then the rioters started to burn the building down. The fire didn't get out of control because the fire department arrived very quickly, put it out, and additional police officers arrived to quell the riot. But it turned into a 5-day protest. It grew to thousands of people, and it caught world attention, especially in the United States, but around the world, when the reporter was telling exactly what the law was, exactly how these people were treated, and it just became too much of an embarrassment for the city of New York, not to change the laws, and they did. But it was very difficult at that time. And I think that a lot of people today, especially young people, should not take their rights for granted. Seniors like me and people more involved than I ever was did a lot to bring about our equality and our civil rights. Thank you for watching.